My name is Orf and I am 11 years old. Before my lips close, here's my story. 3 years ago, I was living with my parents and 2 brothers. The peaceful state life even if my parents were not so rich. My brothers and I went to school, and on Sundays we moved it to the family after church. Life was really peaceful until this there, heard the screams from everywhere. The village was on fire. All of a sudden several gunmen entered home. They took my father by force and tied him up, while my brothers and I were screaming. One of them took my mother. He tore her clothes, and during that time my mother was screaming and asking us to go to our room. She was screaming and shouting so much of her strength, and my father was just looking helpless. Because he just had a gun pointed at his front. I just wanted to know what they did my parents. But I also had an obligation to protect my brothers. We left in our room. And a few minutes after there was smoke throughout the house. I could not find my parents or my brothers, just the smoke and fired. I can't breathe anymore. I woke up in a house and there were several children. I would say a dozen children less and more aged than me. The door of the room opened and suddenly a gentleman came in. Present, my name is Mr. Matthew. I found each of you after the incident that happened in the village. Many of you have lost all your family, you have all lost, and now you are under my protection, and this is your home and your family. Mr. Matthew worked in a mining career. After a few weeks our new parent explains that from now on if we want to eat we have to work with him. We leave the house every day at 4 a.m. and do not return until 7 p.m. in the evening. The distance to the quarry house was 15 kilometers, so every day I walked 30 kilometers to and from. I was only allowed one meal at night. I worked hard, yes very hard, sometimes in the rain, and when it was hot, the temperature went up to 38 degrees. The job was to go down to the mine, dig, clean and find the right ore, and the slightest mistake was tolerated. Sometimes it punished by beating, sometimes I slept hungry, but I had no choice but to pay my debt and ensure my survival. But the conditions in which I worked were very difficult. Some nights I could not sleep, I had nightmares, and other nights I was just cold or even feverish, but with Mr. Matthew the illness was no excuse. Sick or not, I had to work. 2 years after I got very sick. At first it was just headache, then the fever and cough. The cough was getting stronger and stronger as I started to have a bad feeling. I no longer had the strength to get up to go to the mine. I could leave my bed, if can call it reeds, but hey, it doesn't matter. Then one day the older boy that we all came home earlier, he could not remain helpless in the face of my situation. He decided to take me to a health center. When I arrived, no one wanted to take care of me because we didn't have any money. When we got home, Mr. Matthew was very furious and kicked us both out. It was the most difficult night of my life. It rained all night, and I stayed up all night until the early morning and felt more of my legs. I fell to the ground and all I wanted right now was death, so I started praying to God for my death. Suddenly I heard a voice, "Hey little, everything is fine." I looked up and it was a lady who reached out to me, the rest I do not know. I woke up 3 months later in a hospital bed. I'm dying. Despite the efforts of doctors and even the financial assistance of the lady, nothing can keep me alive. I have lung disease as a result of the work in the mine. So my life stops at 11. My name is Orf, I have just turned 11 and I am dying. I don't know how much time I have left, but what I know is that I only breathe thanks to the machines. If my lips close today, I would like you to share my story and tell the world that many other children are in the same situation as me, and even worse, and that with one sharing you can save a life. Thank you for sharing. Orf.